signing of the Good Friday Agreement in 1998? A. John Major. B. Tony Blair. C. Margaret Thatcher. D. Gordon Brown. Answer. B. Tony Blair. Tony Blair was the Prime Minister during the signing of the Good Friday Agreement in 1998, which was a major peace agreement aimed at ending the conflict in Northern Ireland. Question 17. What was the main reason behind the English Civil War in the 17th century? A. Economic disagreements between the monarchy and Parliament. B. Religious conflicts between Catholics and Protestants. C. Power struggles between the monarchy and Parliament. D. Territorial disputes with Scotland. Answer. C. Power struggles between the monarchy and Parliament. The main reason behind the English Civil War was the power struggle between the monarchy under Charles I and Parliament, leading to a conflict over how the country should be governed. Question 18. Which scientific figure formulated the laws of motion and universal gravitation in the late 17th century? A. Galileo Galilei. B. Isaac Newton. C. Albert Einstein. D. Nikola Tesla. Answer. B. Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton formulated the laws of motion and universal gravitation in the late 17th century, fundamentally changing the understanding of physics and the natural world. Question 19. What historical document, signed in 1701, aimed to secure Protestant succession to the British throne? A. The Act of Settlement. B. The Act of Union. C. The Royal Decree. D. The Succession Act. Answer. A. The Act of Settlement. The Act of Settlement of 1701 aimed to secure Protestant succession to the British throne, stipulating that only Protestants could inherit the crown, thereby influencing the line of succession. Question 20. What was the primary reason for the construction of Hadrian's Wall in the 2nd century? A. To mark the boundary of the Roman Empire. B. To protect Roman Britain from the Picts. C. To serve as a trade barrier. D. To celebrate Emperor Hadrian's visit to Britain. Answer. B. To protect Roman Britain from the Picts. Hadrian's Wall was primarily constructed in the 2nd century to protect Roman Britain from the Picts and other groups from what is now Scotland, serving as a northern boundary and defensive fortification for the Roman Empire in Britain. Question 21. Who led the British forces in the Falklands War of 1982? A. Margaret Thatcher. B. John Major. C. Winston Churchill. D. Sir Jeremy Moore. Answer. D. Sir Jeremy Moore. Sir Jeremy Moore led the British forces during the Falklands War of 1982, overseeing the military campaign to reclaim the Falkland Islands from Argentine occupation. Question 22. What were the Corn Laws, and why were they controversial? A. Laws regulating the sale of corn within the UK to control prices. B. Tariff measures on imported grain to protect domestic agriculture. C. Legislation mandating the use of corn in biofuel production. D. Laws prohibiting the export of corn to prevent famine. Answer. B. Tariff measures on imported grain to protect domestic agriculture. The Corn Laws were controversial because they imposed tariffs on imported grain, driving up food prices and favoring landowners over consumers, leading to widespread discontent and economic hardship. Question 23. Which act in 1967 decriminalized homosexual acts in private between two men over the age of 21? A. The Sexual Offences Act. B. The Civil Partnership Act. C. The Equality Act. D. The Human Rights Act. Answer. A. The Sexual Offences Act. The Sexual Offences Act of 1967 was a significant reform that decriminalized homosexual acts in private between two consenting adults over the age of 21, marking a major step forward in gay rights in the UK. Question 24. Who was the last monarch of the House of Tudor? A. Henry VIII. B. Elizabeth I. C. Mary I. D. Edward VI. Answer. B. Elizabeth I. Elizabeth I was the last monarch of the House of Tudor, reigning from 1558 until her death in 1603. Her death marked the end of the Tudor dynasty. Question 25. In what year did women over the age of 30 gain the right to vote in the UK? A. 1918. B. 1928. C. 1938. D. 1948. Answer. A. 1918. Women over the age of 30 gained the right to vote in the UK in 1918 through the Representation of the People Act, which significantly expanded the electorate after World War I. Question 26. What crucial role did the Beveridge Report of 1942 play in the formation of the modern British welfare state? A. It outlined the need for a comprehensive health service. B. It proposed widespread educational reforms. C. It advocated for the establishment of a welfare state to combat poverty. D. It suggested reforms in housing and urban development. Answer. C. It advocated for the establishment of a welfare state to combat poverty. The Beveridge Report of 1942 played a crucial role in laying the groundwork for the modern British welfare state, advocating for comprehensive social insurance and public health measures. Question 27. What major global event did the Munich Agreement of 1938 attempt to address? A. The outbreak of World War II. B. The spread of communism. C. The annexation of Austria. D. The aggression of Nazi Germany. Answer. D. The aggression of Nazi Germany. The Munich Agreement of 1938 was an attempt to appease Nazi Germany by allowing the annexation of the Sudetenland in hopes of preventing further aggression, a policy that ultimately failed. Question 28. What landmark health service was introduced in Britain in 1948? A. The National Health Service, NHS. B. The British Red Cross. C. The Department of Health. D. The Public Health Act. Answer. A. The National Health Service, NHS. The National Health Service, NHS, was introduced in 1948, providing comprehensive healthcare services free at the point of use, funded through taxation. Question 29. Who was the first monarch of the House of Windsor, established in 1917? A. George V. B. Edward VII. C. Elizabeth II. D. George VI. Answer A. George V. George V was the first monarch of the House of Windsor, which was established in 1917 when the royal family changed its name from the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha due to anti-German sentiment during World War I. Question 30. What was the primary outcome of the Glorious Revolution of 1688? A. The establishment of parliamentary sovereignty. B. The restoration of the monarchy. C. The abdication of James II and D. The introduction of the Bill of Rights. Answer. D. The introduction of the Bill of Rights. The primary outcome of the Glorious Revolution of 1688 was the introduction of the Bill of Rights, which limited the powers of the monarchy and laid the foundation for a constitutional monarchy. Question 31. What event in 1536 significantly altered the religious landscape of England and Wales? A. The dissolution of the monasteries. B. The signing of the Act of Union. C. The establishment of the Church of England. D. The Reformation Parliament. Answer. A. The dissolution of the monasteries. The event in 1536 that significantly altered the religious landscape was the dissolution of the monasteries, initiated by Henry VIII, which led to the redistribution of church lands and wealth, and consolidated the establishment of the Church of England. Question 32. Which Prime Minister is associated with the Wind of Change speech, signaling decolonization efforts in Africa? A. Harold Macmillan. B. Winston Churchill. C. Clement Attlee. D. Tony Blair. Answer. A. Harold Macmillan. Harold Macmillan is associated with the Wind of Change speech, delivered in 1960, which acknowledged the growing national aspirations in Africa and signaled British support for decolonization efforts. Question 33. What Act, passed in 1707, unified the Parliaments of England and Scotland? A. The Union of the Crowns. B. The Acts of Union. C. The Magna Carta. D. The Royal Decree. Answer. B. The Acts of Union. The Acts of Union, passed in 1707, officially unified the Parliaments of England and Scotland, creating the Kingdom of Great Britain. Question 34. Who discovered penicillin in 1928, and why was it significant? A. Alexander Fleming. B. Marie Curie. C. Louis Pasteur. D. Robert Koch. Answer. A. Alexander Fleming. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin in 1928, a breakthrough that led to the development of antibiotics, revolutionizing the treatment of bacterial infections, and saving countless lives. Question 35. What infamous ship sank in 1912, leading to major changes in maritime safety regulations? A. The Lusitania. B. The Titanic. C. The Bismarck. D. The Mary Rose. Answer. B. The Titanic. The sinking of the Titanic in